How you like that? You gon' like that? Da 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 da. You like that? Bada bing, bada boom, boom, boom. How you like that? Da 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 da. Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that? Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that?
Hey y'all, Shari G. Welcome back to the channel. So look, I'm here with some more Love and Marriage Huntsville drama. Man, y'all, there's a lot, right? We had the reunion on Saturday. And then yesterday, there was the Carlos and Melody Shari podcast. You know, Carlos was out on tour. And his first stop, doing his podcast thing, his first stop was in Huntsville, Alabama, where he teamed up with Melody. And that whole night was supposed to have been about Melody. Well, anyway, y'all, first of all, I saw clips. I wasn't there. I wish I was. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wasn't there. So I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't go. But anyway, I did listen to some video, and I listened to, I actually watched a live with a local newscaster there in Huntsville. And so I was really glad she did that because it was very clear and distinct, and I felt like she did a really good job of bringing us into the event. So anyway, listening to her, there's a lot that I pulled out of this whole thing. First of all, I feel like everybody who was there had a good time. Shout out to all of the millimeters who were there and all of the fans and viewers who were able to show up. Shout out to all of the content creators who were actually there. I think it was Queen Sheba for sure. Here for Hot Tea for sure. I saw Black Titanic. And I saw Sassy T. She was there, and I'm not really sure. I think Ebony DeBest was there. But anyway, y'all, shout out to all of y'all. I'm so glad you guys had the opportunity to go and participate in the event. It looked like it was a good time had by everyone. And I guess just being in that environment was just a whole vibe. That's what I was getting. So anyway, in this video, though, I do want to talk about, there's a lot I want to talk about, actually, just a lot, my whole overall opinion about the whole thing, the part that I saw. But anyway, this video, I do want to talk about one of the things that Melody said that really, really stuck out to me, only because of my past experience years ago. Actually, it feels like it was a whole lifetime ago. But when she stated that when she left Martell, she considered the kids. Like, it wasn't that she was just leaving for herself. She was leaving for the kids too. So I have some input as to my feelings regarding that, my opinions, you know. So keep in mind, I'm going to drop my disclaimer, then I am going to come back with my commentary. Keep in mind when I do that it's just my views, it's my opinions, and everything is alleged. So hang tight. Let me go ahead and drop this disclaimer, and I'll be right back. If you haven't done so, go ahead, hit the like button. Okay, y'all, thanks for hanging on until I got back with my commentary. Again, keep in mind that the views I express, it's just my opinions, and everything is alleged. So yes, in this interview in the podcast, Melody stated that she left Martell. She wasn't really thinking about like another relationship and things like that. You know, he'd done a job of trying to gaslight her by telling her she had 4 children. No one else was going to want her. Those types of things, you know, those things that narcs do, those things that people, when they try to manipulate a situation, control a situation, do. But anyway, she said that when she left, she did consider her children, and she considered everything. Like, she considered what they were going through. She considered how it would be for them after she left. She also, one of the things that she said that I thought was so very important was what they were learning by staying in the situation. Like, what were her girls learning about the way men treat women? Like, this is okay. Like, if she stayed, the message would be that this is okay. And then what about her son? If he stayed and he continued to witness whatever it was that was going on between Melody and Martell, that this would be okay. Now, granted, Melody did state that there was no physical abuse. So I'm not talking about that. But we know that abuse comes in all forms. Mental, emotional, psychological abuse can sometimes be worse than physical abuse, is what I've heard. But it's the manipulation, the gaslighting, the name calling. I mean, we can just imagine. We've seen how Martell blows up when situations don't go his way. We've seen that on the show. We've seen that on the stage, right? At the reunions, we've seen how he just went storming off of the stage at this reunion, acting like a 5-year-old child. So these are the things that her children are taking in. And this was always my argument to the people who wanted them to be back together, is that no one wants to see a family separate. No one wants to see, the children and, have them go back and forth between their parents' homes. That isn't ideal. But it also isn't healthy or ideal for them to be in a situation where it is toxic. And we have to admit, just based on what they both told us, Melody and Martell, that the situation was toxic. So yeah, when I heard Melody say that she left for her children, she considered everything, I could relate, because years ago, I mean, it was a lifetime ago, because my current husband and I are going on 40 years married in July. But when I left my first husband, we married young, we divorced young, but that was where I was. I considered everything. I considered what she was absorbing. The energy that she was absorbing that was coming from the both of us. If I was sad, she could feel that. The toxicity, I knew it was affecting her. The difference is Melody actually sought counseling for her and her children. At that time, I mean, I didn't even know anything about counseling or to even think of anything like that. But I was wise enough to understand that my daughter was going to be sad if she stayed in the house with us anyway. I understood that there would be challenges once I left, but I had to weigh out the odds. And that's the same thing that I seen with Melody. And that's actually what she said. She had to consider, like everything, what are your children learning? And that's what I had to consider. What is my daughter taking in? What is she learning? I don't want her to grow up and think that this is okay. So I left. So when I heard Melody saying that, I was like, because I couldn't for the life of me get the people around me to understand that. And I'm out of a total different generation from Melody. And I just feel like a lot of people in my generation, no harm, y'all, this is my opinion. A lot of people in my generation, when I grew up in the 60s, have that mentality that you stay for the sake of your children. And I just could not get with that. I've always been like this kind of oddball anyway. Like, I don't know, just a different type of thinker, I guess. I just always more tapped into my intuition than anybody around me, actually, to be honest. That's how I see it now. And I commend Melody for following her gut, for being tapped into her intuition, for understanding that it's bigger than the right now. It's bigger than, not having a father in the home. Not that that's not important, but being able to see all the way out. The bigger picture is what I'm getting at. So when I heard her say that in that interview, I was like, wow, because I never heard her get that deep with it before, and maybe I just missed it. But yeah, so that stuck out to me. Y'all, like you said, there's a lot to take away from this interview. And I'm going to come back with my different thoughts and opinions about everything. But just wanted to just give some attention to that particular question, or, that particular statement that Melody made, because I think a lot of people don't sit back and look at the bigger picture when they're faced with a situation such as divorce. And then people around you, they don't consider, like the long-term effects that it could happen, that your children could experience later. Like, what is the deeper messages that we're giving to our children? What are they taking in internally from this, besides the fact that they're hurt? Of course, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be disappointed, and they're going to have those feelings of, is this my fault? And those are things you have to work through. The advantages of today versus my yesterday is that there are counselors, and there is all sorts of help that you can get to help you work through those situations. So anyway, y'all, that is all I have for you this morning. It's just quick and brief. Like, there is a lot, like I said, to take away from this interview, and I have a lot of thoughts and feelings, and even about Carlos himself. But that's it for now, y'all. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I'll be back. Until then, ciao.